Leneker almost worked herself to exhaustion. Now, she suffered 100 stress-induced panic attacks in just 3 months, and that led to medical leave and a life-changing realization. Today, she helps companies replace stress with joy in the workplace, and her latest book is called Cheers to Monday, the surprisingly simple method to lead and live with less stress and more joy. And today she joins me ahead of our International Day of Happiness to share how you can add joy into your workday. Hi, Amy.
Hi, it's so good to see you.
It is wonderful to see you. Thank you for joining us. You know, I think many people find themselves in the same place that you were in, working around the clock. That's a lot of stress. How were you able to change?
I wish I could say that I had an epiphany to do something different, but it was really my body shutting down. I had burned out to the point where I needed to go on medical leave, and that was my aha moment that I needed to do something different. A workday should not be our entire day.
Wow. Sometimes we do have to kind of hit the rock bottom before we can really, it can be revealed to us that a major change has to happen. And so now companies are coming to you to help them lead with less stress and more joy. What do you find stresses people out most at work?
In our latest study, we found the number one driver, and I don't think this will surprise you or anybody listening, the number one driver of stress was an overwhelming workload. And it was also the number one barrier to joy. And so we've got to figure out, how do we have workloads that are sustainable and allow people to not only be successful at work, but also to feel successful in their lives.
Wow, that's fantastic. And it's good news that there's hope and that you've also broken it down in bite-sized pieces. You say that there's 5 different types of stress. Can you list some of those for me?
Absolutely. And there's a big myth that work stress is just one type, but just like you said, there are 5. And when we understand all 5, then we can do something about them. So type number 1 is schedule, just not enough time to do what you need to do. The second is sudden, when something happens out of the ordinary. Third is social. It's the stress of people. Fourth is suspense, when you're waiting for information. And then fifth is system, when the very workplace that you're in causes you stress.
I think that's excellent that you have outlined that so successfully. And I could see, thinking about my own life, how each of those have impacted me in different types. And you're right, they all are, you know, they are what the impetus is that causes real stress and can cause a lot of problems with your mental and your physical health. So no matter what type of stress we are dealing with, you say that there are things to bring joy to our workday. What is the first one?
And that's the good news, that joy is there, and the two can happen at the exact same time. So the number one driver of joy that we found in our research was when there's meaning, when you've got meaning and purpose in what you do. That was the number one key driver of joy at work.
All right, that's a big one, is finding that meaning. What is the second one?
The second is when you've got mattering in your relationships, when the people that you work with value you, when you feel appreciated, when you feel that you are of value there, not just because of what you do, but simply because of who you are. So mattering in your relationships.
You said mattering, that's the term that you used?
It is mattering, that I matter. Mm-hmm.
That I matter. I think that's so important. Yes, because sometimes we can feel lost or overlooked or not heard. So the mattering component, I think, would be a wonderful way to relieve that stress. And what about third?
The third one, this is the one that surprised me. I assumed that numbers 1 and 2 would be in the data, but when the third one showed up, it surprised me. The third one is momentum. When you've got momentum and progress and you feel like you're moving forward in what you're doing.
All right, having that momentum, having those goals to set, that can propel you forward. It can give you a reason to get up in the morning, having the momentum to address the day. Those are excellent tips. And of course, you've got your book. It's called Cheers to Monday, which I love. And then the subtext is the surprisingly simple method to lead and live with less stress and more joy. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's in the pages of your book?
Yes, Cheers to Monday is a joyful rebellion against stress and burnout. The way that we're working isn't working. And so this is meant to spark conversations with leaders and teams and organizations about how can we work together to redesign work so that it works for everybody.
Those are great tips. It's a book I think everybody should have and be able to read and know that we're not alone in this. You went through your own experience. You've expressed it in your pages. This seems to be the theme of the show. Being able to express yourself and reach out and get help is so vital. So when does your book come out and where can people find you?
It comes out on Tuesday, and it's available right now everywhere books are sold. And if I can say, Paige, as someone who studies joy for a living, your outfit could not be any better.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Once again, to our viewers, check out our Instagram. It's at WFAA-GMT. We'd love to get your comments, and you have brought joy to my life. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it.